Well, if you're not following us on Twitter, you might have missed the tweet, but Dustin tweeted out from our account over the weekend our quarterback rankings when healthy. So, Dustin, I'm going to give you the floor here. And then I'll respond.
Yeah, the quarterback rankings for Tech is obviously a big topic right now with Baron Morton getting his first start and everybody thinking he's the next prodigal son of Texas Tech football and the next Pat Mahomes. There was a lot of that being thrown around Twitterverse over the weekend. So I just wanted to, while we're on a bye week, don't have to worry about another team right now, kind of not really hash that out, just discuss that. And I mean, it's a big discussion. We have 3 talented quarterbacks that have played quite a bit over the last 2 seasons for us. And so now, going into the bye week, and this coming out towards West Virginia, that was Shuck's projected comeback time. So, allegedly, you should have 3 healthy quarterbacks going into next week. So, it's who do you give the starting nod to? What do you rank them at depth chart-wise? Rather than just putting Orr beside everybody, which is probably what's going to happen. I put out there that number 1 was Shuck, number 2 was Baron Morton, and number 3 was Donovan. I think, personally, like that game this week, what you saw from Baron with the healthy foot and ankle, I think he definitely took over Donovan's job.
Yes.
Maybe that happened in practice beforehand, like you mentioned earlier. But just game-wise, which is where everything actually matters, I think he took over the job in that first half.
I agree.
Which is great, cool, which is a good thing. Like I said, I think it opened the offense up more. He's mobile enough to still get some rushing yards and RPO stuff, and you don't have to designate run plays for him like we do for Donovan sometimes. And he can make some passes that Donovan can, arm strength-wise. Now, Donovan has an extra year on him, a little more experience, but I didn't see that as a factor on Saturday at a hostile environment. So throw that out the window, I guess. I still put Shuck at 1 because I still think his experience in this offense gives us more upside. And I get we'll get into the other people on Twitter in a minute. But that's just my thoughts of where we're at. I still want to see Shuck have a full game or multiple full games.
Yeah.
I pray that he can be in this Kelly offense. He only got 1 quarter against Murray State. He only got partial 4 games last year. So, we're still waiting to see what he can do. And obviously, if he can win the job 2 years in a row pretty much, he's got to be the guy on the field and in the locker room, practice field and in the locker room and film room. That's how I see it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think some people see that and think our word is gospel or something like that. It's just an opinion. You can agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, whatever. I think the rankings are right from a coaching standpoint. I think West Virginia, if all 3 quarterbacks are healthy, I think Shuck gets the nod. Now, I think Don Williams tweeted today that we're still not certain if Shuck's going to be back for the West Virginia game. And so that still seems to be up in the air. But I think if all 3 are healthy, I think that's what it is. I think you go Shuck and then Morton and then Smith. Now, personally, I think Morton is the more talented quarterback. I think he's shown that. Availability is a big factor in all this. Shuck just hasn't been available. We haven't been able to see it. I've seen Morton. So I see those people that see those tweets, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. I saw him play the number 7 ranked team on the road and look the part. And so personally, I really like what I saw from him. Do I think this is the year for him? I don't know, because I don't know if our offensive line can protect him. And if he's the future, do I want our future getting destroyed this season, or do I want him to get some experience but get an offensive line that can protect him better? It's tough because I want to see Shuck get his shot, right? We've had him here 2 years, haven't really got to see it, but if for me, it all comes down to if he can play West Virginia. If he can't play West Virginia, I think you go Morton from here on out.
Okay, I like that thought process and how you broke that into it. Yeah, so the people on Twitter that I just didn't agree with were just the people that were downplaying Shuck and just already anointing Baron Morton as the next correct thing after one good half. You know, I'm going to throw out the second half because he was injured, forced some stuff, but one good half, which I really liked.
Yeah, it was great.
Anoint him and give him the reins completely.
Yeah, recency bias.
Hopefully, yes. Recency bias is totally there by everybody. Now, again, before I forget this thought, let me go there. Donovan Smith has given us the biggest sample size of what he can do between these three quarterbacks.
Yes.
Between last year and this year so far. He's pretty much had almost a whole year put together. And comparatively to these other two guys, I don't see as much upside right now from him.
Right. The arm strength, the accuracy, those are things that he just clearly isn't as good at.
He's held up, but you're still trying to run him down people's throats. And just don't always love that with the quarterback, you know? I mean, they talk about in the NFL quite a bit of these running mobile, physical quarterbacks. Not a great thing, you know? So there's that, and that's why I have him third, which good third option, to be honest.
Yeah, like we said at the beginning of the year before the season about these three quarterbacks, that hasn't changed at all. Like, all these three guys can go and win you a football game. We said that at the beginning of the season. That's still the case.
But yeah, just I still want to see Chuck get his chance and have the reins to it. I think game experience, especially in conference, matters a lot, and he has that. Playing at Oregon and playing last year against like Texas and Houston, a couple other cupcakes, but he's played at some other big games. I think that matters, and maybe can make adjustments better that way with his experience and gamesmanship there, which maybe Baron doesn't quite have or have the access to from the coaching staff, you know.
Yeah, it's all tough because you just haven't seen him stay healthy, and so it really is. Yeah, it's a good problem to have three different guys who you're comfortable with going and winning. You know, and I feel bad that Shuck hasn't had his opportunity, but for me, it's pretty cut and dry. Like, if he can start West Virginia, if him and Morton are healthy for West Virginia, who the coaches decide to go with there is, you know, if they decide to go with Shuck, Shuck's the guy. If they decide to go with Morton, Morton's the guy, and I'm going to be behind whatever guy that they decide there. But I think this is Shuck's opportunity. If he's not back for West Virginia, Barron plays West Virginia, you win that game. I don't know how you turn back to Shuck at that point. Now, if Morton struggles in West Virginia, then obviously there's that opportunity. But if Morton comes out and has a full game of just like, wow, that was awesome, like, no looking back at that point, unless you get hurt.
Now that we've seen Morton in game action rather than just spring game, I think him and Shuck have the same playbook. With Donovan, we know, just not have the same playbook as these two guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, their
playbook better than Donovan's playbook.
Yeah, it stretches the field a little bit more, and you trust the pass when it's going a little further downfield. But it's tough because you throw that ranking out 3 weeks ago, and it's no doubt Donovan number 1, and it's no doubt probably Shuck 2, Morton 3. But Texas Tech fans, a lot like sports fans, it's what have you done for me lately, and so I understand.
He's the next guy Mahomes and anointing, and I was like, pump the brakes, people, calm down.
For people who love Mahomes so much, like, it's so weird that we're so ready to, crown the next Mahomes. Like, bro, Mahomes is one of one. Like, stop trying to compare. I get, like, you always are going to try to compare to that last great thing that you've seen. But Mahomes there's nobody like Mahomes. So quit trying to compare everything that kind of looks like it to Mahomes, because it's not.
You're not going to get another Mahomes. It's kind of like Louisville's not going to get another Lamar Jackson. No one is. They're very one-of-one type. people. Like, Kansas State's not trying to get the next Colin Klein up there and win a Heisman in 11 games. Like, you have these quarterbacks that are one of one, rare breed types that can make crazy flick of the wrist throws to Jonathan Giles, and you don't have that right now. And that's okay.
Yeah.
We just have 3 really good dudes.
He can show some attributes kind of like it. He can make some throws that you're like, oh, it kind of reminds. But he's not Patrick Mahomes. Let's stop.
800 yards against Oklahoma.
Let's stop with that. A school that supports that guy so much, and yet every single time somebody's like, oh, that's Mahomes-esque right there. It's like, all right, let's chill on that. Any
good club red controversy.
Catch y'all at the next tailgate.